Hey, it's Chris, flexing off some muscles I haven't used in a while. Should you back S.T.A.L.K.E.R from Awaken Realms? Well, should you? Let's talk. Let's do this. So I'm here to talk you off of the edge, right? Awaken Realms, awesome miniatures, probably the best on the market. Awaken Realms, very good track record of production, fulfillment, no issues there. Raising a ton of money. Value is probably one of, if not the best of any crowdfunding campaign publisher, period, if you're buying the core pledge. So all of those things, and then you combined an IP that is very well loved from the video game side of S.T.A.L.K.E.R, where you've got these zombie-esque creatures in a Ukraine situation where you're trying to explore and discover what happened and what's going on, and, you know, more of a stealth dungeon crawl, if you will, than say a smash 'em, bash 'em up as we're more akin and used to. So why wouldn't this game be right for you? And again, I say this because if you look at all these points and you go, Chris, I'm okay with all those things, well, I can go, yeah, back this. First off, it looks like to be a combination of Tainted Grail, ISS Vanguard, and Nemesis. So how do you feel about the combination of those three things? The Nemesis, the sneaking around, the maneuvering, the ISS Vanguard, and some of the overlaying arching story campaign, the Aetherfield's Tainted Grail side of things, with a lot of tokens, with a lot of map layout, with a lot of cards that are going to be taking events and actions along the way. How do you feel, as another aspect, about the noise component, right? People hated the noise component when it came to other games like Dead of Winter or those similar ones where, you have something happen and you got to shake a little bit, and with Nemesis, bad guys come. How do you feel about that aspect as a main mechanic? Now, second big point is that of those things I just mentioned, of those amalgam, the put together of those various games, now, with that value that I mentioned, you're going to get 36 hours, they say. 3 big missions. They're each going to take you to between 10 to 12 hours. Replayability. People are looking at that and going, I don't know if there's enough replayability. Well, you know what? Screw replayability, right? You're not going to get through 36 hours in a short time frame, because if you're looking at this game, that shouldn't be an issue for you either way, right? Like Chris, you're supposed to be talking me out of this. Well, you have too many campaign games already. 36 hours might be more attainable than, 1,000 of Frosthaven, which is concurrently running as well. So do you need it though? Madara, Adventure Tactics, this, Bloodborne, Frosthaven, Oathsworn, Aeon Trespass Odyssey, Cthulhu Death May Die. That's not really a campaign though. I'm just throwing it in there for the sake of comparison. But all of those other ones fill a similar niche. Do you prefer the Earth Under Siege Metal Gear Solid-esque style of sneaking around? Because this is probably going to be a weight between those two. The Metal Gear Solid one coming out from CMON is probably going to be solid mechanically, but it's going to be a little bit more simple and straightforward. The Earth Under Siege from crowdfunding previously, which is also doing late pledges right now, is very, very heavy in those mechanics. This is going to be solidly somewhere in the middle, a la all of those other Awaken Realms games that I just mentioned. Are you looking for that? Are you looking for something that's going to be middleweight? Because I don't think it's going to be as light as this. I think it's going to be heavier than this. If you want this, don't go for this. If you want something super duper heavy that's going to be extremely tactical and strategic in nature, you go for Earth Under Siege. This is going to fall somewhat in the middle and, hot, cold, or lukewarm, sometimes depending on which one you are, right? 3 bears in the porridge, right? So that's point number 2. Point number 3 is going to be the other interesting one. Point number 3 echoes off of point number 2, because we have not seen a rule book. Where's the rule book? They've got this little primer on the page, right? 4-page intro, 12-page mid, and 36-page full. If it's anything like the previous games of Tainted Grail, of Aetherfields, of Nemesis, the core is going to be solid, but there's going to be a lot of errata. There's going to be a lot of minutia. There's going to be a lot of just things that are very corner, as they say, or even things that are very situational that you're going to be potentially left scrambling for. There is nothing more irritating to me nowadays with rule books that are not good. I am a firm believer, and this is an unpopular opinion, I think, that I should not have to watch a video that someone else has made on how to play a game. You should have a rule book that lays it all out in a similar manner. Period. Right? But where I'm going with this, though, is of that 36-page rule book, you don't know how much are you seeing in this actual gameplay videos that are out there, right? All of the reviews, impressions videos. They're under reviews on the GameFound page, but they're previews and they're playthroughs and some thoughts. But you don't know, because we haven't really been told a whole lot, how much of what's out there has been encapsulated in what is actually being shown prototype-wise. Which brings me up to the next point of the fact that they have literally said in the updates, we're changing stuff. We've heard you. We don't like this either. We'll change it. Which is both a blessing and a terrifying curse. Because we say April 2024, right? You're going to have this delivered in 10 months. You don't have the gameplay down, which again leads me right into point 5, which we'll talk about in a second. You don't have the gameplay down. You don't know how the game's going to be played. You don't know what it's going to look like. Now, again, in a positive way, they're addressing criticisms of the noise, of the mechanics, of the rooms, of the line of sight, of some of those things. But is that going to improve things? Are you going to get enough variability? People are like, well, this weapon is only +1 this is +1 that, this is +1 that, this one has a slight cost here, this one has a, the nuances of some of that stuff of people looking at it is not as asymmetric as people may want. It's going to be more along the lines of this thing again with those. And if you're looking for something more dichotomous in terms of just, wow, this character is immensely different from this one, we don't know yet. And they say they're going to address that. But again, how much of that can you address, fix, and still promise by April 2024? Folks, that's only 9 months away. 9 months. You can't do all of that. Now, again, no one really cares when the delivery date is, but when you're doing that, you should at least be like, hey guys, if we're going to switch all this stuff up, FYI, it's going to be like, January 2025. Minor point, but again, you don't want to tie up a lot of money. There you go. Now, speaking of that, though, that ties right in, like I said, at point number 5. Point number 5 is, if you're changing the core concepts of what they've got in a nutshell, how can you look me as a backer in the eye and say, hey guys, these expansions that we're making that are going to add this, and this, right? They're all going to work and they're going to be fine. They're going to be completely balanced. I just filmed a whole nother video talking about the expansion hell that we are in currently of this exact nature. Expansions, especially on crowdfunding, are the wild, wild forking west because you never know what you're going to get. And the fact of the matter is, a good portion of them are just, and that's the problem. And that's okay if you don't mind that. A little bit of, blood rage exclusives that just sort of throw things completely out of whack. And if you're okay with that, cool. But if you're looking at this game, like I think probably a lot of you are, as a very strategic, very tactical nature game, you throw in some of that extra stuff and it's not completely balanced. Whoops, scale goes sideways, right? Can't tell me that that's not a major concern. Again, I'm not saying they can't do it, but how much are you willing, and this brings me basically to the last point here, how much are you willing to throw in triple digits worth of money into this? Now go back to the beginning, Chris. You've already said Awaken Realms has the best value. Yeah, you know what? I guarantee that you can sell this for more money than you pay for it, even shipping included. You'll make money. But how many of you go, I'm buying this because I'm going to resell it the second I think I don't like it, or the second it actually lands on my porch? Because I guarantee that you will also have a fair number of those people that are doing that. And can you afford to just hold on to it? Can you afford to put $150? Can you afford to put $350? Can you afford to put $600? We used to joke and laugh at the Simons, right? Creep is here, folks. This is real. Is this $600 worth of game for you? Is this the penultimate? I'm going to spend $600 worth of game for you at this point. It's filling a hole in my heart that's never been filled before. I guarantee this game won't do that for you either. So can you really spend $600 on a game like this? Again, I think it looks beautifully aesthetically pleasing. I think the gameplay looks okay. I think I'd be really interested to see what the final product looks like. But as gets mentioned all the times with the vast majority of this stuff from Awaken Realms is it's not exclusive either. And like I just said, I guarantee you will be able to pick it up on the secondary market the second backers get it. And if you're a smart backer or consumer at this point, you'll find someone who sells it at cost as well, because there's plenty of those people that just want to move it on the second they get it into their house for space, money purposes, and everything else. So why are you getting it now then? Right? And let me be clear. Again, I say this as someone who was vastly interested in this game before it launched. And my interest has kind of waned over time, and that's okay. That's okay if it wanes. Sometimes these crowdfunding projects make you go, I'm going to support the publisher on the website, on the crowdfunding site in the first place, and I want to do that. And if you want to do that, awesome. I never tell you not to do that. Well, I will, but, you know, asterisk there. I will also say, you buy it at retail, you're still supporting the publisher, folks. Don't forget that. Don't get FOMO'd or fooled that you can't get it elsewhere and still support them if that's one of your main concerns as well. There you go. My thoughts on S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Everything in between. A little bit of, you know, ranting, raving there, and everything else in the middle. That's all I got. Stay classy. Have a great, freaking fantastic day. Spend your money wisely. See you around.